Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Tech Tuesday presented by Delta Media Group, where we know to always beware of the salmon moose. So, today we are going to take a look at some new functionality that we have added to the email editor in the DeltaNet. What it allows you to do is go in and select an individual listing or an individual customer testimonial to include in an email that you send out to customers. The nice thing is you don't have to go in and enter the listing picture and set up the links and enter all the listing information by hand. You just put in an address or an MLS ID, and that lets you select the listing, and then it'll just drop that listing's information right into the email. So it's designed to save you a lot of time there when it comes to designing listing related emails or including testimonials in your emails. So to use it, we're going to go down and I'll show it to you on the email blast system. So under customers, we'll go down to email blasts, and this is where we'll kind of demonstrate it, but know that this same functionality exists in the editor for the campaign emails as well. So if you were setting up a campaign email, you would still be able to use this functionality. So here we are on the email blast page, so you can see up at the top, this is where any of our drafts would be, if you have any drafts in here, or any templates either saved by you or saved by the company and made available to you, or any of the ones that we've done here at Delta. So you have all those accessible up here. And then as we scroll down, we've got our main email blast section. So here we set a send date. One thing I'll say about the send dates is that you don't want to set these way out in the future, because the idea is that, say I set this to go out to a customer group. So I'll go into my group field and you can see it filled in automatically. And I'll go ahead and type the word group, as useful as that'll be to us. Group A, let's go with that one. There we go. So there's my group A. So if I select that and then I set this to go out in a month, for example, when this goes out, it's going to send to the people that are in group A today, not the people that are in group A when it sends out in a month. So this send ahead functionality or send on date functionality is useful for something that you want to go out maybe in a couple of days, but if you want it to go out in a month or a couple of months or something, it's best to wait and set it up then. So you set the date you want it to go out. It'll be on the current date by default, so I'll just leave it that way. In here, as I demonstrated, you can type in a group name or you can type in customer names also, and you can send this out to individual customers. So if I were to put in, let's see, there we go. How about Princess Vespa? So you can see I can just type in names, it'll narrow this list, and then when I click them, it adds them. So that's how you would add in the recipients there. You can also use CC or BCC to add additional recipients. Keep in mind everyone in the to field, so even though I'm sending to a whole group of customers and an individual customer, they won't see everyone else's email address in the to field. That'll just be kind of an individual email for each recipient. So also something just worth keeping in mind when you set these up. Next, you enter your subject, and then if you have any file attachments you'd like to include, you can add some small file attachments here. So that takes us to the editor itself. So here we have a full WYSIWYG editor, so it gives you functionality as far as text formatting and color, all that sort of thing. So it'll build your email out that way. But then our new functionality includes our system variables here. So I'll click on system variables, and you can see there are a number of things in here already. What these are designed to do is fill in dynamically with information specific to you as the agent or to your customer, like the customer that it's sending to. So if I'm sending to a full group of customers, I can say customer first name, so that's actually going to fill in with the first name of the customer that it's sending to. So everybody gets their own kind of personalized email. Now, I'll go ahead and delete that. And then the new functionality, we'll click on System Variables again and go down here to the bottom, and you see there's an option for property. So we'll click on that, and that brings up my search interface. So I'll go ahead and put in, we'll call it an MLS ID, and I'll go down here and select my listing. And there you have it. I click Close, and you can see that it inserted the shortcode here that it's going to use to display my listing. Now I could add another one, so I could go down here and just add a series of listings and have them all display on here. And I can also now add in testimonials. So I'll click on our system variables again and go down. We'll add a testimonial. And now to add testimonials, you can see I can enter a name, an email, or content from a testimonial, and it'll kind of search them for me. Or I can just select a random one. So what I'll do is, I have a few testimonials in here, so we'll just type something in. You see it finds a match, because it found a match on name in this case. And I'll click on it, and there we go. It inserts the shortcode for that testimonial. Now from there, I can intermingle this with any amount of other custom content I want, because I have this whole WYSIWYG editor. I can embed links, I can put images in here, so I have a lot of freedom as to what I can do with the content. And then these will just fit within the content wherever I place them. So you could have a section where you have 3 or 4 testimonials here in the middle and content above and below it. So you have a lot of freedom there as far as setting that up. So from here, once you have your email built, set and ready to go, you have your options as to how you're going to send it out, or you can even fire off a preview. So I have preview functionality here. If I click that, due to the way it kind of renders out these custom codes or these custom variables, it'll just show this code. It's not actually going to show what it'll fill with. So if I click preview, you can see it just has my code in there. However, if I click on send preview, it'll bring up this modal, and I can go ahead and put in an email address, probably my email address, and hit send preview. It'll then send me an email, and in that email it'll actually display the proper content for these. So it'll replace this chunk of custom code with a display of a listing. And obviously it does the same if I just click send. So send fires it off to all the recipients that I have laid out up here in these fields. Send preview opens up the modal that allows me to put in an email address and just send a preview out to one address. New will clear out the editor. Refresh, there we go, we'll also clear the editor out. Save as draft will allow me to save this as a draft that I can go back and edit later. So it'll save it, add it to the section up here, and then I'll have an option of loading my draft back up and then sending it if I want to. Save as template, we'll also save it up here, but saving it as a template instead of a draft, so it's designed to be, be labeled as a template over here, and it's designed to be more of a permanent one that I'll go back and use over and over, whereas a draft is more like something that's just incomplete. It's more a method of organization than anything else. And then preview, we'll just load up what you just saw, just a modal here that will preview the email. It will display all the content I have entered here, but it won't interpret these at this time, so it'll just display the code for these, as we saw. So now, once I'm ready to go, after I hit send, it'll add it down here to this list, and I'll be able to see it, reuse it if I want to. I'll be able to resend it if I want to, view the preview down here, and then I can also, probably the most important part of this section is I can view the history for this. And what that allows me to do is actually see my opened rate and click-through rate and everything on these emails. So you can see I sent this out. I only sent this to one person, but we'll click on history. So there it is. That's the email address it's sent to. It was never opened and never clicked on. But if I had sent this to 1,000 recipients, it would lay out each recipient down here, and it would even be searchable, where I could type in an individual name and see if that customer opened the email and clicked on the link in the email. So you can see how powerful this can be as far as keeping track of how useful your marketing efforts are being in terms of the email blast system in this case. Again, all of this WYSIWYG editor functionality with the ability to add in those listings and add in testimonials is available to the email campaign editor as well. So if I'm creating email campaigns and I'm adding emails into those, I have this same functionality at my disposal. So now, once you've sent this email out, I'll just give you an idea of how those pieces interpret. So I went ahead and sent one out earlier to get an idea, and this is what the email looks like. Now again, there's no other content here, but all I did was I set up exactly this email where I put in a property ID and a testimonial ID using the what we went over under system variables, and this is how it displays those. So this is what each one of the property records you put in there will look like. It fills in with the property information, address, beds, bath, price, all that stuff, with a link that allows you to click through, or allows the user, the recipient, to click through and view this listing on your website. And then the same deal with the testimonials. It puts in the testimonial information, what the actual testimonial was, along with the name, whether they were represented as a buyer or seller, a star rating if they gave one, and then a link to click through and see the rest of your reviews. And other than that, this would just fill in with any other content you've added to that email wherever you put it. So there you have it. That is how you can now include properties and testimonials in any of your mass emails sent out through the DeltaNet. So as always, if you have any questions, comments, feel free to send an email into support@deltagroup.com or give us a call, and we will be happy to walk you through any of this feature or any of the others in the DeltaNet. So thanks a lot for joining me this week, and I will talk to you again next week.